Hello everyone and welcome to Anime Replay, your place for anything and everything anime. We here at Anime Replay know how popular our beloved media has gotten over the years, but we aren't gatekeepers. Actually, we are quite the opposite. Think of this as a gateway into anime. This video is meant for all the newcomers to anime, so if you have a friend that you can't quite get into your favorite hobby or you're still new yourself, this video is specifically for you. From ages 14 to 40, there will absolutely be something here for you. Now, with all the housekeeping out of the way, let's get right into it with part 1 of the best in beginner anime. Part 1 of the best is focused on the easiest genre to get new viewers into, Shonen battle anime. All of these started off as a manga in Shonen Jump, so it's a weekly collection of some of the best comics in their demographic, and they all share a common theme, because they're primarily aimed at the hearts of shonen, which means like young boys, and that theme is cool powers, wicked sick fight scenes, and adventure. And who doesn't love adventure? Exploring new sights, meeting new people, getting into trouble. You know, basic desires of imagination. HunterxHunter, and yes, the X in the title is silent. It scratches every adventure itch you could think of. Our main character is a boy named Gon. He is on a quest to find his father and to try to understand why his father would leave him with his aunt. And in order to do that and uncover the secrets of their world, he needs to become a hunter. And this is where we get our title. Gon is hunting down a hunter, so he is the hunter. There's no specific way to describe what a hunter is. In our world, they would compare to someone with a PhD, but it's a lot more complex than that, because there are hunters that are cooks, like in the Hunter exams. There are hunters that are high-end security guards, like in the phenomenal York New arc. And there are hunters that just want to fight with an unquenchable bloodlust. Basically, they are the experts in their field. They are the pinnacles of humanity, being able to use a power system called Nin. And this complex power system would take an entire video to explain fully, but it really adds depth to the story that not many shows, anime or otherwise, would hope to accomplish. And this is just scratching the surface of a show without even talking about our cast. And that theme of the show, it changes each arc. It's incredible. Now that you know a bit more about the well-loved series, here's why it's so accessible for people just dipping their toes into anime as a whole. It truly is a series for everyone. Younger viewers will immediately start to relate to Gon and his lust for adventure, while an older audience will quickly start to see that there is a darker, more adult side on what lays ahead. A villain like Hisoka will just seem like a strong and creepy antagonist to someone in their tweens, but his actions and habits will strike a more experienced person as deviant and perverted in a way that honestly straddles the line of taboo. Before we move on, let's revisit why Nin is so important, because once it's explained in detail to Gon and his BFF Killua, the series really goes about making every detail clear to the viewer. You see, most shows don't spell out the sort of rock, paper, scissors structure that is in all these battle anime, but HunterxHunter does, and it prepares a first-time watcher to understand that basic concept in so many other shows. Because power systems are a common theme in anime. It's such an easy concept for a Western audience to understand, kind of like how X-Men have different powers, but you understand still that they're all on different levels. Now, I may not know a ton about the X-Men, but what I do know about is an anime called Myheroacademia. Just as Professor X has a school for the gifted, in the world of My Hero, those that possess special powers called quirks are able to go to a high-end school to allow them opportunities to become real heroes. Of course, we have the opposite of heroes in villains, and just like that, many of these villains are trying to disrupt the peace for their own personal agendas. And the heroes that are in charge of keeping the peace have to legally obtain a license to use their quirks in situations where they're needed. Some people view the biggest fault of this show as the shortcomings of main character Midoriya, but just like in the series itself, that can be its biggest strength. The story is told through his recollection of how he becomes a real hero, and while he is quick to cry at the start of his journey, which does make it hard for some to relate to, his tears are never so irrational that it doesn't come from a truly emotional moment. He is a child who has been told that all hopes of ever dreaming or moving forward towards his goals is impossible. And while we do get quick glances at his lowest points, the start of the show takes place after he has already given up and accepted that he will always have that emptiness inside him. Luckily, that low start means that there's a big chance for growth, which the show does not waste. He changes from a person to a hero, and that's what makes the show great. But I'd be doing you a disservice if I only talked about him and not the rest of the cast. Because how many other shows that you watch have a cast of more than 20 characters that are all fleshed out and expanded little by little on each one, because every student, teacher, villain, hero, parent gets plenty of time to shine. Now, some people in the fandom are still talking about a sword-wielding bad guy that only appeared briefly near the start of the series. Like, he hasn't been around forever, but he still has this impact, and that's how much they expand on the characters. You gotta say, even the rivalries give a different perspective and change your expectations on what loyalty and morals really mean. As of now, the newest season just started, so there has never been a better time to jump in. So we talked about heroes, we talked a little bit about villains, but there is a tremendous amount of responsibility that villains have in anime. Without a great villain, why would we root for our heroes to take interest in the journey? One of the most distinguished villains in anime kind of looks like the king of pop. He looks like Michael Jackson. That's right, this smooth criminal's name is Muzan, and he is from one of the newer generations defining anime, Demon Slayer. The first thing that pops out is the incredible animation. Seriously, Ufotable did an outstanding job. Hey, Mr. Editor, yeah, you, Mo, do your magic and show off this beauty. Look at this, on screen right now. This is movie quality animation in a TV series. Demon Slayer leans into a bit more of that horror side of anime, the adult side, the darker side. And the Demon Slayer core is not officially recognized by the government, but they are essential to the continuation of the human race against demons. Our main man, Tanjiro, loses his family when a demon attacks, and the only survivor is his sister, who is on the verge of turning into one herself. Now, immediately after that, they're met by this master swordsman called a Hashira, or a pillar of the Demon Slayer core. And he decides not to kill his sister. Instead, he leaves them to be taught by his former mentor, believing that those two siblings might be able to finally cleanse the demon curse. The mentor teaches our main guy the truth about how this world operates and gives him the ability to defend himself and his sister. This power system, like we talked about earlier, is based on breathing techniques, with each fighter being able to call on the subtle differences in how one breathes to highlight their fighting styles. The hot and heavy breathing that makes you think of fire, breaths that are calm and smooth like water. Even a breath as sudden and quick as lightning can add to the fighting. And although it's heavily exaggerated, learning breathing techniques in real life can help with anxiety. So remember, weebs, drink water, get your sleep, and breathe right. Demon Slayer showed in the past that just having good looks is sometimes enough. Not to sound shallow or like Demon Slayer doesn't have a good story, but the animation quality that this show brings is definitely able to hold an audience's attention. I know that you've been looking at this on your screen the whole time, but just admire what we have in this golden age of anime. What we had in the past was great, and if you do watch anime or you have tried to watch anime before, you understand how far it has come, and that is showcased perfectly in Demon Slayer. The final recommendation in part 1 of our best anime for beginners list may seem like it has little to do with the rest, but you'll come to find that Death Note fits comfortably in line with the rest of these options. The anime came out in 2006 after its glorious debut in Shonen Jump, just like the other 3 options here, but the battles it portrays is one that takes place in the mind. Someone who is just dipping their toes into anime may find it strange to take in the concept of books that kill those that have their names written inside them, or gods of death gallivanting around with regular people, but what will hook those people in is the suspense. The game of cat and mouse that is played around the hunt for the owner of the Death Note is great to see from an audience perspective, as we sometimes know more than the characters do, or we know less, and we get teased agonizingly close to seeing the series end each time we think that the main character, named Light, is about to be outplanned. If that wasn't enough, the series would be oddly comfortable for fans of the American series Breaking Bad, as we see a character with redeemable qualities get faced with the pressure of doing something bad to survive and to hold on to one sense of justice. Think about how killing people is wrong, duh, in the same way that selling meth is wrong, duh. But both series have us following and cheering for someone that we hope will come out on the right side at the end. Well, that does it for this episode, and there are many other gateways into anime, so stay on the lookout for part 2 if power systems and fighting isn't your cup of PG tips, also known as the best tea in England. Our writer kept trying to get their girlfriend to into anime, and HunterxHunter was the one that finally changed her mind. Now they watch One Piece together, and I guess that's our weekly One Piece reference. And also his way of reminding me how lonely I truly am, but when the mic isn't turned on, no one can hear me crying. Anyway, what was the anime that brought you in? We'd love to know, so please tell us in the comments. Remember, if you like what we're doing here, try and like and subscribe. There's a bet going on between me, the writer Anton, and our editorial magician Mo, of which anime on this list will come out on top. The writer Anton is all about HunterxHunter, so he wants to see that up on the leaderboards. We know that's not going to be the truth, but hey, let him dream. Until then, see you later, nerds.